Popular demand, we are going to get into it today with your RCDSB inbox and some of the kind of advanced settings and bonus settings that are in there. So if you have any questions while I'm screen sharing, please make sure you add them to the group chat. You can find that on the left-hand side of your screen. Throw any questions in there and we will address them when we come back to this group session. So here we go, some of the advanced settings inside of your inbox. Just going to share my screen here. And off we go. So inside of your RCDSB inbox, which is a Gmail account, you will see over on the right-hand side of the screen this gear, the settings gear. And if you click on that, that'll allow us to access a few of the additional features of your inbox. Scroll down to settings. In the general tab here is where I can find a whole bunch of kind of the mysterious settings that you've probably wondered about. And I'm going to show you a couple that I think might be helpful to adjust or change. Partway down the screen here is this setting called undo send. And the default setting count is 10 seconds. So I would recommend that you change this to 30 seconds, which is the maximum allowed. And what undo send allows you to do is after you've pressed send for an email, you have 30 seconds to actually pull that back before it gets shipped off to the person. So if you change your mind with what you said or you catch a spelling mistake or something, you can pull it right back in, up to 30 seconds. This only works on a computer or laptop. It won't work on the mobile app. If you scroll down a little further, you'll also see that you can change the picture that appears in the corner of your Gmail profile. There's also this section here that's pretty important called signature, where you can identify yourself and your school and your contact information, and this will show up at the bottom of every email you send. So if you're wondering how people do that, that's where you can find it, and you can just edit that text box and make those changes. The last stop on this part of the tour is this thing called vacation responder. It's that out of office email that gets sent to people if you're away. So if you're gone for a few days for a PD session or whatever it might be, you can type in here and make those changes to direct people to another person to contact in the school if it's an emergency, or let them know when you'll be back. So that's how you make those adjustments here under vacation responder. Any changes you make in here, you'll have to press Save Changes too for them to take effect. I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and there is a tab up here called Inbox, where it gets a little tricky because everyone organizes themselves in kind of their own personal way. But there are different ways that you can organize your inbox. So if I was in my inbox, for example, you can see that I've got a mix of unread messages and read messages. It's all kind of jammed up together. And there's a number of different kind of labels and folders along the side. And inside the settings, in inbox is a way that I can kind of organize those things. So inbox type, you might just have to click and play around here. Do you want to see unread email first? Things that are kind of flagged by the system as important. Do you want to set up a priority inbox? So if you click on those things, there's all these different settings that you can make, and you just have to figure out based on your organizational style what works for you. But it's found settings icon and under the tab inbox. So you can check those out, and if you need some help setting that up, you can let one of your TLCs know. But that's where you can find it. Okay, so I'm going to pop back out to my inbox. And now we're going to talk about this idea of organizing our inbox itself, because we know that you get a lot of email and a lot of different types of email. So one of the things that you can do is apply labels, set folders, and filters. So up here you can see that I've got a couple emails from somebody, me, related to student council. So I'm going to click on those emails, okay, with the box on the side, and maybe I'm going to move it to a certain folder. And I can use these folders that exist, but a cool feature would be to create a new set of folders for, say, example, anything related to that type of thing. So now along the side, on the left-hand side here, I'll see this folder that exists there. And now anytime I want to, I can click on one of these and move it to that. I can also create a label and filter system that will do that for me automatically. So I could apply a label, okay, and create new labels. If I do that, okay. Oh. Okay, that's another way that I can stay organized with labeling, okay. And the other thing I can do is I can filter those messages. So if I click on, if I click an email, press filter, messages like these, I'll get the type of email that appears. Maybe there's certain words that are in it that are going to indicate that it needs to be filtered that way. And then I get to choose what to do with it. So right now it's going to, maybe I'm going to choose anything that comes from that Brian Reed guy. And we're going to create a filter with this search down here at the bottom. And we can have it so that it skips right past my inbox and I don't even read it. I can mark it as read. I can star it if it's important. This connects to what we were just talking about. I can apply a certain label to it. So anything that comes from that person, maybe I can have go straight to that student council folder. Okay. There's a whole bunch of different options in there, but having filters helps you stay organized. And now if I press create filter, that'll take place anytime I get an email from Brian Reed now, it'll go straight to that student council folder. Okay, the other thing we want to show you in the last couple minutes here is using the search bar up top. So the search bar is pretty sweet. If there's an email that you got or you got and you can't find it, if it's not in your filtered or organized emails, you can click this down arrow and see that you can search in a whole bunch of different ways. You can search for emails that came from someone. Something in the subject has the word, so like a keyword search. I like this one over here. If you're looking for something, oh, someone sent me that attachment. You can search for emails that have attachments. Also very helpful is there's a date range. So if you know that you got it, early November or something like that, you can search for those emails that way. And you can also change which email you're searching. In this case, I'm searching all mail. Depending on how you've organized yourself, of course, you might just be searching your inbox. Things that you sent would be under sent mail. Things that maybe went in your trash. So there's a lot of different options. If you can't find an email, it's probably in there somewhere, as long as you didn't delete it and it's not past 30 days. Another way to kind of organize yourself. So say I have a whole bunch of these emails that I know I kind of don't really need to read, but I may want to be able to search for later, is I can highlight them and click on the archive button. And that makes them disappear from my inbox, but it still allows me to search them when I do the search bar up top. Okay, and the final stop on our tour is a couple hints and tips about sending. So I'm going to press compose as if I'm going to send an email. And one of the things to be familiar with is the different send lines. There's a CC, which would be kind of adding people to the email, but it's directed at somebody else. And a BCC, a blind carbon copy, anyone who appears in this line will not be visible to the person who's receiving the email. So some teachers might use that with you when they're keeping you in the loop about certain things, but it's also a handy way to keep people's email addresses private if that's what you're going for. Finally, down here in the right-hand corner of an email you're about to send is more options, and there is a feature here for request a read receipt. So if there's something you're sending and you need to know that someone has read it, you can press request read receipt here, and it's going to prompt the person to get back to or indicate that they have seen and read your email. So that might be helpful for you to know about. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go back to the Hangout. and see if there's any kind of questions in here. So, kind of seeing none, I want to thank you very much for attending today, and we will post this video to the YouTube channel shortly. Okay, have a great day, everybody.